You know, the roads in LA are so bad. Going off-road feels like you're on road, but all right, here's some dirt. Here we go. This is where this thing really feels at home. There's like 10 miles of bad road to get you in the mood. Welcome to episode of J-Lo's Garage, the car featuring today my 1942 GPW Ford Jeep. This is based on a Willys design, you know. Henry Ford was a bit of a pacifist. He didn't really want to get involved in war, but the government came to him and said, listen, we need a lot of vehicles. We need to produce them fast. Willys had the patent for the Jeep and developed it, but they couldn't turn them out at the rate the government needed them because Ford was famous for turning out a car every 15 minutes. So they said, listen, why don't you do this? Why don't you go work out a deal with Willys? Ford did not have the chassis in time. They could make the body parts and the motor, but they couldn't do the chassis. Willys still had a bunch of chassis, so in a rare instance of the whole country coming together for the sake of war, Willys gave Ford their chassis. Ford built it, their Ford on the Willys chassis, and then eventually they did get their own chassis, but for a while there was a lot of back and forward. Ford was pretty much a genius at doing things quickly. When you look at the Willys one, it has a little different grill and each bar is welded in, and Ford just decided, no, let's just stamp these out. And boom, they would stamp these grills out, and they did that with the whole car. These are just wonderful vehicles. You know, when I was 15 or 16, the back of Mechanics Illustrated or Popular Mechanics, even comic books had these for sale. You'd see the ad and it'd always be a drawing, you know, still packed in the original Cosmoline, World War II leftovers. Because when the war ended, it just ended and there was stuff being ready to ship over to Europe and, oh, the war's over, okay, we'll leave it on the dock. And they would sell these and you would buy the Jeep in a wooden crate covered with Cosmoline, which is like a heavy grease over the whole thing. And they were about $100. I mean, it was amazing. Now, $100 back then would probably be like $1,100 or $1,200 now, certainly in the 40s and 50s. They were all over the place. And then one day they just kind of disappeared and then they became collector's items. You know, a lot of guys use these as farm vehicles. Oh, they're just wonderful. 134, 135 cubic inch motor, flathead, just bulletproof, about 60 horsepower. Top speed's about 55. You might get 60 going downhill, but that's not what they were for. They're not freeway vehicles. They were just meant to go over terrain. You had two-wheel drive, and then you could go into four-wheel drive whenever you wanted. There are so many cool things about these. The windshield folds down. The machine gun would be right here, and the guy would stand and just fire it. I mean, the brave guys that used these during the war, it's pretty amazing. Europe was littered with these. I think Ford made about 275,000 of them, and they banged them out, you know, 2 or 3 an hour, and just put them on the boats and sent them to Normandy Beach and every other place. And a lot of people think this is the vehicle that helped win the war because the Americans could move around a lot quicker because there were so many of these Jeeps and they put 5, 6 guys in it. You go over there and you need help over here, go over there. I mean, it was pretty amazing. Has a lot of the features, the blackout lights like this here. This is a blackout light. The glass itself is black with a little slit, and there's another blackout light down here. The idea being if you were following a convoy from an airplane, you couldn't see the light because of this, but you could see the vehicle in front of you because it had the small lights in the back, and that's how you got around. It wasn't to light up the road, it was just so people could see you if they were standing in the road. What else do we have here? Well, you got your jerry can bag. They called these jerry cans because the Germans invented it and they didn't want to say you're Germans, so they called them jerrys. This is an antenna of some sort. You got all kinds of boxes back here for ammo and tools. 3-speed transmission. You know, it's really the original dune buggy. They're really so much fun. When I was a kid growing up in New England, you had a lot of veterans who then were in their 40s and 50s, and they all got these because it reminded them of their war days. And they're just so much fun to drive, easy to steer, lightweight. I think this is about 2,400 pounds. Let me show you the motor on these. This is I'll show you some fascinating ideas that this thing incorporates. This comes up, okay. As you can see, everything is easily accessible. Now something that's kind of cool, like you see this headlight here? Well, here you got a wing nut, You loosen that wing nut, and then the headlight comes out, and you got a work light should the Jeep break down or something. And you got two of them, so you can light up this whole area to see. There's your fuel pump down there with your glass. Here's your carburetor here, horn, oil filter. Everything is easily accessible so you could work on it. And the fan, the cool thing is a lever there. See, if you're fording a river with this, if you're going through a river or a stream or just high water, and the fan is spinning, it could throw water all over the electrical system. So you'd loosen that, you'd move the generator forward, unhook the fan so it wasn't spinning, so you wouldn't get the electrical system all damaged. You push it down again, the belt would tighten, and you go back to driving and cooling. But the idea being, you wanted something that was pretty bulletproof. And that was pretty, you know, if you had a fluid system here and you broke a brake line, you'd lose your brakes. But chances of breaking one of those rods probably not going to happen. You got a primary cup here on your engine, so you open that, you put a little gas in it, sends gas directly to the combustion chamber, so when you try and start it, in case your carburetor is clogged or something like that. You know, it got your oil can right here. All kinds of neat things on this vehicle. Fan shroud, you got some rope up there. This had turn signals, obviously put on later. Brakes are mechanical, meaning they're not hydraulic. There's no brake fluid, just a rod to the brake, and it takes a lot of foot pressure to stop it. You know, it's a tread pattern on these tires, which means you can't really put them on wrong. You can't put them on backwards because they're not really directional. They don't have to, you know, most tires have to go one way or the tread, whereas these, the idea was you know, people are shooting out, just get the tire on there any way you can. And that's really what these are. I think these are the original tires. This thing, I've had this thing a while. Just wonderful vehicles, brilliantly simple, and just runs in any kind of situation. They did a lot of hit and runs with that. I think I used to watch Rat Patrol, because we used to have these in every episode. You know, guys who have machine guns on, and they never seemed to get hit, which was pretty amazing. The rear seat folds down as well. I mentioned the storage units back here. Here you can put a shovel, a pick, whatever. You've got a kind of a seat belt that goes here. And the idea is it's not really a seat belt, it just keeps you from getting thrown out of the vehicle if you're going around a sharp turn. Gas tank is under the seat. Hey, don't smoke when you drive this. Hey, you know, put the cigarette up. Yeah, be careful. But your gas tank is right under there. And it runs on any octane. If you've got 1 octane, believe me, it'll run on this thing. You know, there are an awful lot of Jeep guys that know every bit of minutia and detail about these. I'm sorry, I'm not one of them, but I just enjoy driving it so much. People get a real kick out of seeing it. Not so much now, but when I first got it, you always meet the old guy. I had one, they tell you a war story, you know, and sadly, we lose about, God, I remember for a while, we were losing 1,500 World War veterans a day. And I don't know how many of those guys are left. You'd have to be in your late 90s or 100 years old, so God bless them. But this is what they protected us with. Pretty amazing. It had a top. I don't have the top for it. But yeah, pretty bulletproof. And so many of them were left over in Europe. Frenchmen and Englishmen, they have a huge following over there because we left them behind and they managed to utilize them. And a lot of them have been preserved, which is really kind of cool. But let's take a ride. I'll show you what we're talking about. Well, there aren't many vehicles that are more fun to drive than these things. You know, they're so light. They're only about 60 horsepower. They're light. They're not that light, but it feels really light on its feet. I've got it in 2-wheel drive now. I don't really need 4-wheel drive. I keep it 2-wheel drive because that's how you get the highest speed out of it, I think. This thing doesn't even have hydraulic brakes. You have mechanical brakes because obviously they're probably more durable in rough conditions. You know, you rupture a brake line and you have no brakes at all, but you're probably not going to break the rod that goes to the brake drum. I'm sure that's the thinking anyway. These are so cheap after the war. The back of, you know, Popular Mechanics and Boys True Adventure and all those kind of magazines, They don't have these for sale, still packed in the original Cosmoline, you know, $100, something like that. And they're pretty bulletproof. This is probably the only vehicle I have that I would valet if I went to a restaurant. Because the guy can't break it. There's nothing you can do. You scratch it, nobody's going to notice. Other than flipping it over and breaking your neck, yeah, there's not much else can go wrong. If you don't look at the speedometer, you just assume you're going a lot faster than you really are. As I said before, you can fold down the windshield and get the full wind in your face with these things. There's still a ton of these left over in Europe. You know, if you had one of these, a couple of Hershey bars, nylon, you were in. It just makes you smile driving this thing. It's a classic example of using all the power all the time. Put the pedal all the way to the floor and just keep it there. Going about 48 miles an hour, which is a comfortable cruise speed for this. One thing about this, you can't get any speeding tickets. That's what I love about California. If you're not on the freeway, 5 miles from my garage in the middle of nowhere. The roads in LA are so bad, going off-road feels like you're on road. But all right, here's some dirt. Here we go. Here we go. All right, there. This is the way this thing really feels at home. Like 10 miles of bad road to get you in the mood. I remember talking with Senator Bob Dole about these. If you don't know that name, he ran for president about, 30 years ago. Nice guy. He was a wounded veteran. He had a bad arm that was kind of permanently sort of incapacitated. He used to hold his pen like this. He couldn't really use the hand much. But he was a real veteran and a good guy. Good guy. Motorcycles wave, people in Rolls Royces wave, people in Mustangs. It's great. Hey, if you had some experience with these, or maybe your dad did and he passed it on to you, let me know in the comment section. I'm curious to see how many people respond. You know, these things are still pretty reasonable. I imagine, well, just looking online, they seem to be in the $15,000 to $28,000 range. If you're willing to do a bit of work yourself, you can probably get a lot cheaper than that. I hope you got a kick out of seeing this thing. We didn't go really very far, but you know, they're just so much fun. They're inexpensive, easy to fix. You can leave them outside. You never have to wash it. In fact, the more patina you get out, the better it looks. This one is an authentic one from 1942. Like me. This is built during the heat of battle. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of history with this thing. Anyway, listen, hey, thanks for checking us out. And we'll see you next week with something